This is just an ordinary pedestrian crossing. It's probably not that interesting at the end of the day. You probably might not also think these little tactile dots are that interesting to designate we're at a pedestrian crossing, or that I'm currently on a traffic island, which allows me as a pedestrian to get across this crazy roundabout intersection just a little bit easier. But all of these things that when I first moved to London I never noticed, all seem to add up more recently, where I began to appreciate them more and more. So much so that it began to make me think, living in London sure has changed the way I see just about everything.
Right, let's talk about it. You asked me some really great questions recently, and weirdly enough, a lot of them made me think of just how much I've changed since moving to London. My name is Evan Edinger, and this is a bit of a Q&A. Starting with this, what got you so into infrastructure lately? Something like that. Well, actually, this has come about from me visiting my hometown in New Jersey multiple times in the last couple years. For the first 7 years I lived in London, I didn't really think about infrastructure too much at all. It's a well-designed system, and so it kind of blends in. I coexist with it, don't think about it too much. Once I went back to visit my hometown, I was like, whoa, something's missing here. And then when I came back to London, I was like, oh, I've never noticed this type of thing. Even when I made a video about the Hawk Beacon when I was in New Jersey, my friend Kim was like, how do you not have islands for the pedestrians? And I was like, what do you mean? And that was another little thing. I was like, oh my God, there's so much I don't realize that I appreciate about London that I take for granted these days. But no, now I notice all these details. I find them fascinating. Wherever I travel to, any country I go to, I'm always looking for bits of pedestrian infrastructure that are really nice, bits of cycling infrastructure, bits of public transport that make life so much nicer. Things that for me, I couldn't live without these days. Like once I started noticing things, it was just a waterfall of more information. And yeah, I find it really difficult not to learn things and then want to tell everyone about them. And welcome to my YouTube channel. The second question is, since you've got an e-bike, are you still taking the tube or the bus anymore? No, not really. I mentioned this in my video on the London Silvertown Tunnel, I'll link that above, but since getting the e-bike, I pretty much never take the tube or the bus anywhere. I very much just take the e-bike. If I'm going to Marlow, where my partner's from, if I'm going to Chesham, where I've got a friend, those aren't London, so I'm going to have to take the tube, and I'm gonna have to get the Lizzie line or anything else to get there. But if it's within the city, West London, North London, South London, Central, East, doesn't matter. I'm just gonna be cycling there. It's very safe, it's very fun, it's very healthy. There's so many positives. I'm planning on making a video about how cycling has changed my life for better or worse. I don't think there's a worse to that, honestly, but I am making a video at some point in the future. I just want it to be special, and so I'm spending some time thinking about it. Coming soon. The other day I was having a thought where I was like, oh, if only I lived in the Netherlands, I could safely cycle wherever I wanted to. Like if I lived in Amsterdam, I could just cycle around. And then I thought about it and I went, wait a minute. I can literally do that right now in London. London is a safe cycling city. It might not be the Rolls Royce of cycling that many Dutch cities are, but it's very functional, it's very safe, and I already do everything I want with a bike in London, so I love it. Oh, and a relevant question, would you ever cycle in the US? No, absolutely not. I've seen some like cycling YouTubers that are based in the US and they're showing reviews of a bike around their city, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's like shock and horror. I would never want to cycle in most any place in the US. Even the most like walkable parts like New York City are terrifying because you're still having to share the road on most parts with giant angry taxi drivers and trucks. And no, the infrastructure is so hostile towards pedestrians. It's also hostile towards anyone else that's not in a car. As much as I love cycling now, if I was like forced to move back to the US, I just don't think I could, because I also value living. In my hometown, they have actually been putting in a lot of cycleways. I noticed when I went there the last time and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. But even still, they're like the very bare minimum of just painted stripes. And the way that Americans drive, drinking on one hand, driving with their knee, texting on the other. Is this how you text these days? No, thank you. I like to live. What part of London would you never go to and why? It's actually quite a bad question, because it's assuming that there are parts of London that I was like, ooh, unsafe. I've never felt unsafe in any area of London, day or night, honestly. I've cycled through a lot more areas that I hadn't been before, areas that most people might be like, ooh, it's sketchy, ooh, it's in Newham. Honestly, fine. I'm not walking around or cycling around with like giant gaudy amounts of like wealth and Rolexes and whatnot. I'm just existing, and I've always felt very safe. And now that I've postured enough, it's Croydon. Nobody wants to go to Croydon, you know, it's Croydon. I wouldn't go to Croydon, it's not even London. It's like every city has that sort of twin city part of the city that they're like, no. You know, like Cardiff's got Newport, I'm not going to Newport. You know, Manchester's got, not Manchester. New Jersey's got everywhere that's not New Jersey, Eagleton, and Pawnee. What better example than that? Speaking of New Jersey, next question is, what part of New Jersey do you miss specifically? A couple things, actually. Mostly really good specific types of food as a standard. I'm talking pizza, bagels, and ice cream. When I walk into any pizza place in New Jersey, there is a 9 out of 10 chance that's gonna be a 10 out of 10 pizza. Same with the custard stands for ice cream, same with bagels. Now, when I go to the UK, sure, there might exist some good pizzas and some good ice cream, but it is not a standard. You must seek them out. If I go into a random place and get a pizza here, the odds of that being a 10 out of 10, very, very, very low, unless I seek it out. So before I get comments like, you haven't been to Devon, try the ice cream there. I shouldn't have to, all right? I'm talking about as a standard. So I just miss those 3 types of food a lot, just being able to get them easily and have it be super tasty. Otherwise, the weather, I do miss having 4 seasons. I miss it being like scorchingly hot in the summer where you wanna die. And I miss in the winter how it's just covered in snow, lots of snow, and it's beautiful and quiet and peaceful. And I also miss how torrential the rain is in New Jersey. When it rains. In London, the weather is very mild. It's always within a certain amount of temperature. And when it rains, the rain's like, is this enough rain for you, sir? Is that what you want? A little bit of spit on your face? No, I want you to piss on me. Okay. You seem to have been able to merge your love of travel with work. Is this because of your career or because you actively sought that? I do love travel. It was one of those things that I realized once I moved to London because of how just eye-opening it is. It opens my perspectives a lot, and also because it's so much more cheap when you're flying or traveling from London. 15-pound coach from London to Amsterdam and back. Wow, that's how I traveled when I first moved here. It was so exciting. I could go anywhere I wanted on a bank holiday, on a standard weekend, and I would do it as much as possible, and I'd film myself hoping that by creating an audience that's into travel, maybe I'd get some free trips. That is very much what happened. And so my travel channel was just me traveling, filming my adventures, and then being sent to different places. And it was a dream. Then after COVID, that whole thing basically tanked. I couldn't travel as much, and then I'm not on the Instagrams as much as the new generation is, and I feel like that's what tourism boards are mostly into. So that kind of faded out, and so I had to kind of reinvent my love for travel and somehow find a way to package that up for YouTube, and I think I've done a pretty good job so far. Basically, it's just places that I want to go. I research some different topics about the places I'm going and be like, oh, that's interesting, start scripting about it, and then when I get there, I get to make a video and share an interesting thing I've learned. That's how I've done it. It's quite fun. Will you ever collaborate with Not Just Bikes? I actually left them a comment like 3 years ago. We should collab at some point. I've got an interesting video. And he replied saying, yeah, shoot me an email. And that's as far as I got. Welcome to ADHD, all right? I never sent the email. I just went, sweet. I've done that with, I wanna say like 4 to 5 YouTubers. I just have a lot of struggles when it comes to like making a plan follow through when a lot of other people are involved. It stresses me out to be that guy. That's why I was so happy to have been able to make a collab with Lawrence from Lost in the Pond. He's so funny, so nice, and I'm just so happy that I actually got to make a video with someone. In terms of Jason, yeah, I'd love to do a little cycle and chat around London, even though that is just bikes. I'm just bikes, so it's all good. If you could only eat one breakfast forever, what would it be? Easy. It's the breakfast I have pretty much 50% of the time anyway. And that is one I've talked about in my video on nutrition labels. I have one of 2 breakfasts, but this one would be the one. And that is skyr or Greek yogurt with some whey protein powder, some seeds mixed in, a little psyllium husk, blueberries, raspberries, and some tasty granola. It's so healthy, it's so good, it's a nice way to start my day. And also, obviously, some coffee made from a Chemex. Oh, my favorite type of breakfast. Otherwise, I usually just have 2 eggs, 2 sausage, 2 toast with some Chemex coffee. Out of all the coffees I have ever made, it's just so good. It's so good. And that all is a perfect breakfast that I'd be happy to have every day because I kind of already do. What's your process for deciding what videos to make? It has pretty much always been the same process since the very beginning of my YouTube channel, which is I'll have a conversation with someone in a pub, something interesting will come up and I'll go, oh, that's interesting. I'll learn more about it and then I'll make a video about it. It used to be way easier because it would be kind of more surface level. And these days, what ends up happening is I'll start on something small and I'll say to like my editor and be like, oh, the next one's gonna be really easy. Don't worry about it. I'm doing this really simple video where me and my partner, we just go to a place and we try jellied eels, end of video. And then I end up reading more about the eels and I'm like, oh, wow, this is fascinating. And I keep learning more and more and I'm like, well, people gotta know. And then the video expands to the point where I make this giant mini docu about it. That's kind of what happens these days. Same thing happened with my video on ice cream. It was supposed to be so small, and then I just kept learning more and more. But also, that's really what I enjoy the most. I really enjoy being able to learn things and then, I guess, present it in an interesting way and hopefully in a mildly entertaining way. Which video are you most proud of? It depends on the era of video in terms of like when I was making it. I'd say like pre-2022 was my Goodbye Chiswick video. This is a very emotional video I had made, which was basically a love letter to the area I'd lived in London for 4 years, my first ever like adult home. And I wanted to leave a mark and be like, I lived here, like carving my name on a tree. And the video meant a lot to me. It was very emotional. And it was especially because I didn't know where I was gonna live for the next 3, 4, 5 months. I was just kind of confused. And so to me, it was like this really important video that I had made and I was happy to have made it. More recently, I'm pretty much so freaking proud of most everything that I have made in like the last year and a half. I've been so happy with what I've been able to produce. It's been really nice. If I had to pick one, I'm like, is it gonna be the Hawk Beacon? Is it gonna be the other? No, I feel like the video of me taking my girlfriend around my home state and just enjoying all the food that New Jersey has to offer. I'm just so happy about that video. I'm so proud of it because it really came together in a way where people enjoyed it. I actually thought that one would be one of my least viewed because originally I was thinking like, oh, let me do like a tier list. Take my British girlfriend around and be like, do you like bagel? Do you like a pizza? But the fact that so many people were interested and engaged with it just made me so happy. And I'm just really happy that that turned out so well. So that one. I might be forgetting some more, but that's the first one that comes to mind. I've made a lot of videos. What are you reading right now and what is your favorite book? So I just finished reading the book called Careless People. It was a very good read. It was about someone that worked at Facebook for its like growth. And if you want to know the seedy backstory behind Meta Facebook, it's really, really interesting. I would recommend it. I'm currently reading Watching the English, which is like an anthropomorphic book about customs in England. Very fascinating. Right up my alley. My girlfriend kept trying to recommend I read it, and here I am. My favorite book, obviously, that's Lord of the Rings. Can you see it? You see, you can't, he's off camera. Lord of the Rings, all right? I've read it like 4 or 5 times. It gets better every time you read it. I've read the Silmarillion multiple times, you know, Unfinished Tales. It's J.R.R. Tolkien is really good at building a world, and yeah, Lord of the Rings, top tier, 10 out of 10. Oh, nächste Frage. Lernst du noch regelmäßig Deutsch oder konzentrierst du dich jetzt voll auf Spanish? So this person's asking me if I am still learning German or if I'm focusing more on Spanish. I'm very much just doing Spanish. My German is slipping by the wayside. I can still understand a lot of German like that. Easy, I can read it. If I hear something, I can understand it. But when it comes to producing the German, you gotta use it or you lose it. And that is the problem. I'm not regularly engaging with the language as much as I was. But when it comes to Spanish, yeah, I've been really, really killing it with my Spanish. I feel so good with it. And I'm so excited to one day get like, just start using it. To be fair, I do use it when I can, like, and it's really, really enjoyable. So my thought is once I'm finished up with where I'm going with Spanish, I'm gonna like hopefully make some videos about it. And then maybe I'll do a German from Spanish. And then after that, as much as I've been saying to myself, I want to get into like basic French, I actually just kind of want to learn Dutch because of how close it is to German. Every time I've been to the Netherlands, I've been looking at like signs being like, I can read every word on this because it's so similar to German. I can't understand how it's pronounced, but they're so similar but different that I feel like if I just spend a little time, it would like benefit me a lot just to be able to say like, I know a bit of Dutch. So we'll see what happens. I just really like languages. I like the ability to understand intrinsically other things about other cultures. And also it's just fun. How's the avocado tree doing? Thanks for asking. I made a video like 6-7 years ago about how to grow an avocado from a seed, and he's doing quite well. He keeps trying to die because avocados are very difficult to keep alive, keeps getting all these sorts of pests and fungus, and you gotta keep loving them and gotta keep protecting them. But he's doing all right. His 2 parents though, guys, listen, they died like 2 years ago and I broke my heart. I cried extensively. I was so depressed. They couldn't fit in my flat. My flat is just so small and they were way too big. I couldn't put them on the balcony because it's way too windy, so they were dying from wind scarage. I couldn't put them inside because there wasn't enough sun. Basically, they were perfect in my little garden in Chiswick that I no longer had. And essentially, I kind of shoveled them off. I put them on that school bus where you're like, are they gonna be good, Mom? Yeah, they're going to a place where avocado trees go free. And essentially, I was hoping they'd be okay, but there was one freak snowstorm, and by the time I got there, that was it. Avocados are hard to keep alive. This one I have now, he's my favorite, he's still alive, and he's very nice. What's your typical lighting setup look like these days? Well, thanks for asking. It looks like this. So, as you can see, we've got the Aputure 120D with a big light dome. This is at a 30-degree angle from where my main A camera is, so that way it softens the light on my face. It comes across like this. And then the specular highlights here, they're actually this light here. I use this, it's a Young Nuo, rims me. at about 1%. That's all I need just to give it that nice little glazing on the other side of my head from my softbox there. Also, you might enjoy that light back there. So that is actually my Aputure 60D. It's like a big spotlight, which I put barn doors in to give the illusion that it's light filtering through the window. It's quite nice. In terms of back here, my monitors have turned off. How long has that been off? I care a lot about this, all right? I spend like an hour before filming just making sure every little light is in place. And basically when I set this up today, I really wanted it to have this nice digital yet switching to cozy and then switching to natural vibe when it comes to the lighting. So it goes from this teal to orange to then natural light. Used to be a lot more splashy, and now I've turned the lighting down a bit more and had it more enunciate things in the background, just pinpoint different things. At one point, I'd love to do, probably before I move out of this place, some sort of studio tour specifically on this room and how I make the things I do. But for now, I hope this was good. And then we have a Why No Hoa video. Yeah, actually, I had, before going to Hoi An in Vietnam, scripted up this whole video I was so excited to make because Hoi An, I'd seen so many articles online, is one of those cities that banned cars. And I was like, oh my God, that's fascinating. It's like a cycle haven. And I was like, oh my God, this is so fun. And then when we get there, well, it wasn't quite what I was expecting. There's a lot more loud motorbikes than I was expecting. It was like a sort of an asterisk. It's like, oh yeah, they're banned on certain roads at certain times of day and certain vehicles. And basically, I ended up making this really lovely video despite that, where it kind of like has that arc of me wanting to talk more about the fact that this was supposed to be for cycling, and then also intersperse it with like, oh, we're trying the famous banh mi's in the town and we're learning more, and I'm trying to educate people that want to know about this really interesting family that are one of the few families left that make these traditional noodles in Hoi An. And then also other food stuff. So it's basically like infrastructure and food and just a vlog, honestly. That sort of thing, it's so difficult to package up, and I just want people to like it. It's so close to being up. I spent 3 full days editing it, but the issue with it is it's a travel vlog. So it's for my second channel. And so all the time that I've spent funneling into this as a passion project is time that I've not spent kicking my Sunday can down the road of making videos every Sunday. And so then I've been backed up on this channel and I'm like, oh God. And I don't know how things go over there. Sometimes I do really well on the second channel, sometimes I don't. And it's very much just meant to be, if I have extra time, I make these videos. Hopefully by the time you're watching this, the Hoi An video is live. Oh my God, you can watch it. It's really good. I spent so long on it. But if it's not, it's coming soon. If you'd like to send me a question for my next one, you'll be able to tell when I'm doing them if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I'll make a community post and you can just leave me a little question. Or if you follow my Instagram, I also got some from there. I mostly post photography, so if you're into that, check that out. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and being interested in what I'm making. Hopefully, I keep up whatever I've been doing recently and you keep enjoying it. That would be nice. I'm genuinely thankful that people watch my videos. I've been doing this for so long, and I've been chugging along. I've pivoted many times, and I've just kept kind of making what I wanted. And the fact that I still have an audience that is interested in what I have to say is just really nice, and I will always be thankful. So thank you very much, and hopefully I will see you next time on my channel next Sunday, as always. Goodbye.